Resistance. Let's talk about it. It's day 2. Well, the start of day 2. The beginning of day 2. I actually made it 24 hours. Fasted. Dry fasted. No water. No nothing. And it wasn't hard. Today, it wasn't hard. Now, I did have some thoughts of wanting to eat food. I had some cravings, and I still pushed through. And so I want to start off by saying we locked in and it's due season. It's your boy Carl Anthony. I spent my day, this morning I on my way to work, I was actually running late to work. Woke up late. Still made it on time, but running late. So I didn't get to do some of the things that I wanted to do this morning. But what I did do, I prayed, talked to God for a while. Then I listened to worship music, trying to, minimize the secular music while I'm fasting. And really probably not at all, like probably no secular music while I'm fasting. And really I'm kind of transitioning away from secular music in general, just because starting to I guess the deeper I grow in my walk with God, it's kind of like I don't have the desire to want to hear it that much. Even I remember last night I did listen to some a little bit, like for the new music that was coming out. And, I took a listen and I just said, all right, that's enough. I don't need to hear it. I didn't, it is what it is. And I'm not trying to be self-righteous on it. And I'm just saying, that's just kind of where my mind is at right now. But I was supposed to walk. I didn't do no walking today. Real sleepy today. But I spent my day working, I was working on a brand on due season. I got all these old designs that I used to, that I came up with, some myself, and then some I came up with, from other people. But then, with the new ChatGPT, I was using the tools, the AI tools, the new image creator to recreate some of the designs I had. And when I tell you, bro, it really took my designs to a whole nother level. It is so amazing and scary what AI can do, all the stuff they can do. It's like if I was editing this video, I would show you guys some of the stuff the before and after, just to show you how enhanced that they made it. It's like you actually working with a real graphic designer. Now, mind you, they had a full framework from the previous design that I had. They really made it look that much better. So I'm really excited for what Due Season, the clothing brand, is going to look like. And I'm creating different pillars within a brand. I'm doing like a car culture racing line within it, and then the fitness side, and then I'm doing some faith-based, designs too. So I really, the biggest barrier right now to entry is just the money, to really come up with the money to get my samples going and figure out production, especially with these tariffs. I want to see how that's going to affect things if I'm going to have to go from, I've done samples in the past where I went through Alibaba and dealing with China. But then again, I might end up having to go to Portugal might be the way. And then if I can find some manufacturers here, that can do what I want, cut and sew pieces. And I might do some blanks with certain things, but with certain things that I need done, I'm going to have to go cut and sew. So it's going to take a lot of money to get it going. And I may do a soft launch just to get it started, get back up and running. And I'm not new to the clothing business, the clothing line game either. So, but this time I want to make it a massive success, and I got so much more knowledge and I know what to do, right? So that's also a part of this journey, right? Over the years that I've been kind of heavy and, out of shape, it's like I've tried to launch brands, but I couldn't even put myself in the clothes to be a spokesperson for my own brand. So, I use my brother, who's 10 years younger than me, and he plays basketball professionally overseas, and he's in great shape, slim and 6'4". My son is 6'2", 6'3", my height, a little slightly taller, and slim, basketball shape, he's 18. And it's like me being the creator behind my own brand, I'm not in the type of shape where I would represent my clothing well. And so that's been another, glaring part of my journey. It's realizing okay, I'm trying to create a business outside of my job, outside of what's paying the bills right now, that's really going to enrich my life and, you know what I'm saying, and do numbers, become a millionaire, all that kind of stuff, leave generational wealth, whatever, right? I believe that being out of shape is one of the biggest barriers to my success, right? And really because it mirrors the lack of discipline, right? You look like you're undisciplined when you're fat and sloppy. Even though I'm not fat and sloppy, I'm still not right. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I can't take my shirt off, if I got some kind of man boobage, you know, even though I got a lot of muscle, it's like, no, it's not a cool way to look. It's just not. So one thing you got to do is be brutally honest with yourself as a man. And yes, there are a lot of broke, jacked dudes out here. So it's not saying that just because you get jacked, you're going to get rich and get success. But for a man that's on his journey and on his purpose, if you're out of shape, guaranteed, like getting jacked, getting in shape, enhancing yourself, improving yourself internally, externally, will only lead to more success. That's just what it is. So I know it's a lot of people making content about getting jacked and that's the whole thing, body game and all of that. And there's value in that, trust me. But for yourself, just for your own level of confidence, like for me, I wasn't a big guy all my life. So it wasn't like, there's some guys that's been big guys their whole lives. So they're used to they're used to that, you know? They're used to, you know, I know a lot of big guys who get girls, you know, they get girls, they get chicks. So it's like they never had a problem getting chicks as a big guy. So for them, they don't really have the same level of motivation to just want to, you know, get in shape. But for a guy like me, who for most of my life was not a big guy, and, you know, like I said, I only had 2 periods in my teenage years where I was chunky. And but before I was chunky, I was in pretty good shape as a little kid. And then I had abs as a little kid. And then I got out of shape for those 2 years. And then I got right back. I got real skinny, actually. I got super skinny in high school. Like I was probably too skinny, like 130 pounds and 5'10" or something at one point. So I was pretty skinny, but after losing all that weight, so which is only like 20 or 30 pounds, but 20 or 30 pounds for a teenager is a lot. So I stayed skinny for majority of my high school. I was only chunky my freshman year. I was skinny throughout high school. Got jacked in college, 8% body fat, like I told you guys yesterday, and then had like a runner's physique, like, you know, long distance runner's physique at one point, just skinny in my 20s, you know. Then I got back into the weights or whatever. So anyway, just the last, like, let's say, really the last 10 years of my life, though, that's been the biggest struggle weight-wise of my life, the last 10 years. You know, mid-30s to now mid-40s. So this journey I'm on right now of just building this discipline back up, you know, I realized it wasn't really just about eating bad and, you know, not working out and stuff like that. It was really more of a spiritual journey, right? My mom used to always tell me when my room wouldn't be clean. She said, you know, your room not being clean symbolizes a messy life. And I used to be like, Mom, you tripping. Like, it ain't got nothing to do with my life. It's just the room ain't clean, whatever. And so I started looking at that when I got older as an adult. And I'm like, you know, in my car sometimes, you know, keeping my car messy, you know, papers everywhere, extra clothing, and how much better you feel when your car is clean. You know, when you clean up, you get it vacuumed, you get it a nice hand car wash. It makes you feel different. It really enhances you in your aura, right? So if you look at your life and how you're moving, right? So if my financial house is out of order and my body is out of order and things like this, that means I have a messy or disorganized life, right? And so in order to really, you know, get back how you're supposed to be, you really gotta do what you gotta do. You gotta set in, you know, a framework of goals and targets. And you gotta buckle down and if you really want success out of your life, man, you gotta do certain things that's gonna get you to success. And that's just what it is. So my self-improvement journey is definitely all about getting in shape and really getting jacked for real. Because like I said, I want to get back. I want to get into my online coaching journey, right? I hate to see a fat trainer. Like I've seen fat trainers throughout my life. And I'm like, dude, although you like The knowledge is the knowledge. If you know how to get people in shape, you know how to get people in shape. It is what it is, right? But what kind of example are you setting to literally be a coach to someone when you are not the example of what you're trying to get them to be? You got to be the example, just like with your kids. You can't tell your kids to be successful and to work hard if you're not putting in the work and working hard too. So sometimes when my kids are being lazy and slacking, I look at my own life. That really examines me. I'm looking at my own life and I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to go too hard on them, because if I'm not fully going hard at the things that I want to go hard at, who am I to tell them, So that's why I'm raising my standard. And so resistance is everything. I've been resisting the temptation to crash out and just eat and comfort myself. Like I said, it hasn't been that tough today, but I definitely had the thoughts. Right now, as I'm recording this video, it's like 7 something at night this Friday, and my family just went out. My wife and my kids went out to go get churros and ice cream, and I didn't go with them. For one, I was tired, and I just want to get a little rest, but also wanted to shoot this video, and I didn't want to make an excuse for not, producing this content. But the other thing is, I don't want to be around that temptation. And then halfway through the first part of this video, my wife called me and was like, hey, you want something? You want me to get you something? I'm like, no, I'm not eating. I'm fasting, right? And so another thing is, she's heard me say I'm a fast several days this week. So me resisting, I could have caved in right then and there. And I could have just, what I could have done? I could have deleted the video from yesterday and just went ghost for a while and then try it again next when I'm ready again. But I am fed up. I am really fed up with the current state of my life. And so I'm locking in. It's tunnel vision right now. I got to get these goals. I got to launch this brand. I got to get this coaching business off the ground. I got to get jacked and shredded. Like, I want abs. I want all of that. You know what I'm saying? Striations, So we here. We doing what we got to do, But yeah, day 2 is beginning. Day 1 is in the books. Day 2 is beginning right now. I'm already, like I said, about 26 hours now, 26 or 27 hours fasted now. And I'm going to drive. My attempt is to dry fast for, 72 hours before I have any liquids. Like I said, I'm not eating any food. Once again, if you didn't watch the first video, which only like one person watched that first video, but am not eating anything, no physical, no solid food until I drop 50 pounds. That means no fruit, no nothing until I drop 50 pounds. That's my word. That's what I'm doing. Sounds extreme, yes, but desperate times call for desperate measures. And like I said, I know what I'm doing. I know about fasting, and I'm going to get there. And I don't got time to waste. I'm not trying to wait 6 months. And some people say it's stupid to try to lose that much weight in a short period of time, but I know what to do. Because like once I'm done fasting completely, I'm going to get on all juices for, the first 7 days and slowly introduce solid fruit to wean myself back into solid food, So I know how to do it. And also, so I won't, gain the weight back like that. Of course, I'm not going to gain all the weight that I lose, but I will put on some weight once I introduce solid food. But look, I'm trying to be 100 pounds down by my birthday. And, trying to be 100 pounds down by my birthday. And so that's a tall task. And my birthday is July 18. And that's extreme, 200 pounds, right? 205, something like that. But I want to look the best that I've looked in a long time, right? Since my early 30s, right? So, weight makes you look older. It's already bad enough I'm getting this gray. And yes, I do darken my beard up. I do, because look, I'm bald. So it's like I can't be bald and gray at the same time. So, hey, I'm preserving myself. It's my version of self-improvement. But it's your boy Carl Anthony, day 2 in the books, or day 2 beginning, day 1 in the books, fasting from solid food until I drop 50 pounds. Hit that like button. Let's follow me on the journey. And in some of these videos, I'm going to switch it up and take myself to the gym or to the park and show y'all what I'm doing. But yeah, I just want to get these thoughts off and journal my day. Peace.